I originated from a boundless queendom. Royalty reigns in my family. My that comes oh so naturally, so homage is paid to this majesty. I was birthed into this greatness. I bathed in it to stay steady. My divine purpose was purchased with precious blood before conception, therefore I was born ready. Unlike Celie, I was groomed to be a winner as a beginner, like her sister Nettie. I'm the quiet storm behind you. I rain down before you ever notice me. You just happen to look up and my verses be dropping like a plague of words from God's rotary. We be chatting about my passions. I speak them in spirit and in truth. He has anointed and endowed me with the spirits of Mary, Esther, and Ruth. He handpicked me from a million. He plucked me from amongst the stars.
You are now tuned in to Everyday People Radio on Intellectual Radio and iHeartRadio station. I am your host, April Sean. I am so glad you have tuned in to us. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for allowing us into your space, into your homes, and we greatly appreciate you. Please give us a call. The number 708-223-8953. Again, that's 708-223-8953. Thank you again for coming to Everyday People Radio. I appreciate you all who came back to hear me again, to listen and tune in. I greatly appreciate you. I love you. I sent shouts out last week to people that I greatly appreciate. I left some people out unpurposely. It's just time restrictions. So I do want to just send shouts out and love to one, Just Mike the Poet. I love you. Team at Ease, Solid Souls. All you poets out there who know me, love me, who embraced me when I first came into the poetry community, and all you listeners that keep coming back to us. Right now, we're just going to take a quick poetry break and let you all enjoy the art. And when we come back, we're going to talk to none other than Miss Corrine Davis. And she is she is running for a state representative for Illinois. So we'll be back. Guys, enjoy.
If you want to be cool, stay away from drugs and go to school. You want to be smart, not stupid and dumb. Have a nice career and don't be a bum. Put down the guns. You're in danger, son. Think about what you're doing before it's done.
Yeah, they say they lost in the softball. Just reaching their teens and their time's cut off. Spaces on shirts, tissues and cloths. Loud screams, obituaries, full of pictures and short-lived memories. Short paragraphs, no diplomas, no degrees, just more bullets received. It seems as if death comes in more than just three. One adult, two kids, and about 5 or 6 in their teens. Save our children, save our streets. Stop ignoring the billboards and stickers. See every day we pass some cold-hearted killers on our buses and subways. They strapped with 9s and AKs. The city's like a maze, it's full of death traps, a never-ending phase. The same thing, different days. Camera lights, blue and white. Now they stretched out for serving hypes. White t-shirts, sagging jeans, looking alike. Standing on corners and squares, pitching opinions and shooting the dice. Stuck, trapped, used to the life. Gangsters, thugs, more blood. There's flowers and liquor bottles in the last spots that they stood. to west side. Then it gets worse. Roads lined with Inglewood, ambulance, fire trucks, they flying past. I know it was one of us. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. It's either that or handcuffs. Lost within a lifestyle they caught. Chances, whatever's the cost of the evils they sought. More community leaders, faces of depressed adults. We all gather for results, trying to figure whose fault. Maybe it was the parents that were never taught. Pushes a kid to be so hard. He thinks the love is being too soft. Save our children, save our streets, though it's not that easy. See, we have some of the worst of police. To some of these lawyers and judges and creeps. It's hard. We have to lean on the least of the beats. It's less jobs. Crime is on the increase. Then we have soldiers overseas, but more than ever, this city's in need. It's a war, fighting over pride and greed. Thoughts of giving up, just pack up and leave. But how can I turn my back on the child saying, help me please? No daddy, no one's there to encourage him to study and read. They dropping out by the numbers. Within themselves, they don't believe. They closing their own doors. They're throwing away the keys. They turn to cushion weed. County time, creating records and toll fees. More DUIs, they losing their license, making it harder to succeed. Save our children, save our streets. At an early age, they ruined. No discipline, no structure. Then our little girls, they take the ways of prostitute mothers. It's a shame the way they grade one another. How could she expect for a young man to respect and love her? She blames herself that he cheats and punches, never knowing that feeling of being held and caressed, treated with the utmost respect. It's just generational curses of being molested. She's torn apart from child neglect. Mother endured, relationships wrecked. It's a never-ending family hex. As she goes years with fears, ignoring the test. And some with intentions to infect. We amongst contaminated seeds, heathens and demons, atheism, nothing to believe in. Many souls have been sold to these city streets. Praise for food out your mouth to eat. He sees no future when he thinks, no purpose, no religious beliefs. It's just anger, grudges, and beefs. A ticking time bomb, a button away from setting off the alarm. Some are searching for ways.
Welcome back. You are tuned back into Everyday People Radio Show on Intellectual Radio and iHeartRadio station. I'm your host, April Deshawn, and I have in my presence Ms. Corrine Davis, State Representative. The 29th district. She's running for office. You guys listen up. If you live in the 29th district, you have questions that you want answered, give us a call. The number 708-223-8953. Again, that's 708-223-8953. Welcome to Everyday People. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm doing great.
Good.
I'm doing great.
Great. Now you brought your assistant with you. What's her name?
Yes, Mona. She's
Hi,
my
Mona.
everything on campaign.
Hi, Mona, everything.
Everything.
Pleasure to meet you. Now, Corrine, tell us where you're from and where you grew up.
Okay, so I am from, most people don't know of this neighborhood. It's changed names, but it was previously called Eden Green. It is the community right west of Augill Gardens community. So that's where my family is from, or that's where I was born into, and then we moved to Calumet City. I guess majority of my life was Calumet City. I went to grade school, then TF North High School there, before going to Northern Illinois University to get my bachelor's, which was an amazing experience, and then National Louis University to obtain my MBA, and I'm still in the progress of doing that.
Awesome. Always good to evolve. TF North, my oldest daughter's actually graduated from there. So
Really?
yes, so I know all about that little school.
Okay.
I walked those
me
halls
neither.
many days. Now, what did you dream of being as a child?
A lawyer.
Lawyer.
A forensic scientist, an artist, I wanted to do architectural design. Mostly I thought it was going to be law. I thought it was going to be law because I love debating. huge talker, love debating, love family, get-togethers and stuff like that. So I always thought it was going to be law, really. But I also like to draw and art and everything. So, how you maneuver through multiple careers over your life?
Right.
Architectural design, because that was one of the drawing things, and I thought that was going to pan out. It didn't.
Okay.
Then I'm like, oh, forensic science, so forensic files. I went to, there's a forensic lab actually in Joliet. Went to visit the forensic lab. I just knew I wanted to get into ballistics. It is firearms. So when you shoot a firearm and you have a case, they'll match up the carvings on the bullet to the gun that matches, and they send it back to court. So you find out who did what.
Right.
So I just knew, but science wasn't my thing.
Do you watch Law and Order?
Oh yeah.
That's my favorite show.
Everything.
You talk about ballistics. I'm like, I solved the crime. I know he did it. I know he did it.
Right.
Now you say you were into art and you like to draw. Do you still draw?
Not so much anymore. I really like to paint. I really loved oil paints in high school.
Okay.
So that was like my favorite medium, and really what I liked to draw was buildings and still art. So faces I couldn't get right.
Do you have any art that you may have dabbled in that's up on your walls in your home or anything like that?
No,
not at all.
No, it's at my mom's house.
Okay, good. At least you have something that you kept.
But yeah, high school art, I don't think I'll put any of that on my wall. Actually, some of them were pretty good. I look back on them, but I haven't seen them in years.
Yeah. What about your kids? Do they like art? Do they like any of them took up that talent from you?
Well, my kids are still really young. I have 4-year-old twins, so they're still really young. You really just don't know where they're going to go. And my 11-year-old, no, he doesn't draw.
No.
Not at all. He's a video gamer. He's that type of kid,
Awesome. Beautiful. Now, you said, I've been researching you, of course, and you stated unbeknownst to you that your political career started in college. Can you elaborate on that?
Absolutely. So like I said, I thought I was going to do law. I thought I was going to do all these other things. I went to Northern Illinois University, and I was kind of made to join this organization, those College Parents Group. Best experience of my life. I became the treasurer of that group and started going around campus with all these different things that I seen that needed to change. When you're a parent on campus, it's not the same as going there and you living free. You're called a non-traditional student because you have a child. So you live off campus, you don't live in dorms, and you're not treated the same. So you looked all sideways on a bus because majority of the school doesn't have kids. And then you're there with a child. They're like, why is this baby on a bus? So it's kind of that stereotypical type, you kind of go through that. Okay. So we're trying to make the campus more interactive and kid friendly with the College Parents Group. So anyone that had children on campus, we would do campus activities, take the kids to zoos. We'll make sure that campus was inviting for kids as well as their parents. So I joined NAACP, I joined organizations, I ran for BSU president.
Okay.
I have so many stories about NIU.
This is the place to tell them.
That is where I became politically involved. I didn't know running for BSU president was like political, but I really ran for office. I ran, and that was an experience in itself. But there was a lot of rules that need to be changed. And I wanted to be an impact on the campus. I wanted to leave a legacy. So when doing a lot of things, I've seen the politics and all of it, talking to campus police, talking to the head of security, talking to the president of the university to get things done, and really meaning to get things done. And I absolutely loved it. And I actually wanted to do that when I came back home. I got a position with Toys R Us and Babies R Us as a human resource supervisor. Okay. So from there, I wasn't community involved, and I wanted to give back to the community. So I actually left that position, took a leap of faith, and went straight for community service. And that's what I've been doing ever since.
Wow. Yeah. So when you in college, when you left, when you were the Black Student Union, and NAACP and the parenting group, the college parenting group, did you see a change when you left? Were you able to make a lot of changes? I know it was a new organization for you when you stepped in it. So
Right.
did you see a difference by the time you left college?
Yes, absolutely. So I have two stories. So yes. With the college parents group, you know how all colleges have college parties. And they would sell, now ticket sales are online, but then you will have to get a wristband and they'll sell it at 12 p.m. in the afternoon. And then you go to a party at 10 p.m., later that night. Well, if you have a child, you don't have a babysitter at noon, you have a babysitter at 10 when you need it.
Right.
So they put this big sign up saying no kids allowed in line. For anybody with parent. And instead of them like organizing the line, making sure it was safe for everybody, because it was people fighting, it was crazy.
Oh, wow.
Trying to get in line, people coming from SIU and other schools. So they put that sign up and we thought it was so discriminatory. We're like, are you directly targeting us? Like, that's horrible. So we went to the campus police, we wrote all these letters, and it was down within 3 hours. Wow. So that I felt like was an impact on the school because they know we took action right away and they know they can't just do anything to us and we'll accept it. And I try to preach that to everybody. Like, don't just let an organization or anybody that considers themselves in power to do things to you because you actually have the power. We actually have the power as residents. We have the power as students because we pay for that school to be there.
Yes.
And although they make the rules to keep everything in line, that we will have to follow, we have a voice in that. A lot of people don't understand that or know that.
Absolutely. So your petitions count, your voice matters.
Absolutely. All the time. All the time.
So when you started coming out of your grammar school years and you were I'm going to take you back to high school. Now your mindset was all over the place of what you wanted to be.
Absolutely.
And then when you got into high school, were you kind of more in tune to what you wanted to do by the time you went to college? Because you went to college for...
I went to college because I wanted my business license. Okay, so no, it wasn't. High school is where it was all over the place. And even going into college, I was still not set. I wanted to go into business. I wanted to own my own business. And my thoughts were, I have so many ideas on all these businesses that I want to open, that I would create the business plan for all of them, sell them, and create a residual for myself every year off the business plans. So that was my goal in high school. Okay. Like when I went to college, I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Because I have too many ideas and I don't want to run 500 businesses.
Yes.
And none of them had the same concept at all. So I just knew like I was business oriented. I wanted to get my business degree. So I went to college for business. So NIU has an amazing business school. And I went there for business. And unfortunately, like the accounting is like crazy. Like you have to like literally have 4.0s just straight down the line for accounting. It was really hard.
Yeah, all those numbers. I'd be like, no, I gotta go.
And you have to take that for business, I
gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be back tomorrow, next year.
So no, I was never like, this is what I want to do, and that's it. It was all over the place. I changed my mind every year.
Okay. So everything, you just kind of got into it on your way in your journey, basically.
Right.
And how did you meet your husband?
High school.
Okay.
High school. My husband is my high school sweetheart. We met, his aunt lived next door to my mom. So he was outside cutting grass.
And you guys had never met before this day?
No.
Wow.
He was outside cutting grass. He was visiting his aunt. He was outside cutting grass, and his cousin that lived there introduced us like, hey, you guys are the same age, you should hang out,
Mm-hmm.
So
and there the story goes.
Right.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah. High school, it was crazy.
Cool. Now, is your 11-year-old involved in your political campaign? Does he understand what you're doing?
My 11-year-old is amazing. Yes, he wants to do everything. He started out and he was very interested in what I'm doing and why. So he wanted to really understand the roles of government. So he wanted me to test him every morning on the structure of government, legislative, judicial, and executive.
Nice.
And he memorized it. He knows what each do. He knows what the roles are. And he actually wants a major position on the campaign. And I'm trying to find out where I could put him that he would love, So I give him a little task to do here and there, and he loves it. He wants to be involved all the time.
That's amazing. That's good.
Yeah. He goes back and forth. He's like, I want to be, my husband's in the military. He's been in the military my son's whole life, 17 years. So before my son. So my son is going back and forth, like, I don't know if I want to do politics or military. Can I do both? So he wants to be a little bit of both of us,
Okay, that's awesome. He can do it.
Yeah.
He just got to work it out, figure it out which way he want to go. Now, does he have a specific political role that he thinks he wants to take on?
No, not at all. He's interested in anything that he does. So I try to give him like data management. So he'll put in numbers for me if we need that done. He's really, really good at math, like better than me. I don't want to admit that this kid can do math better than me, but he's really good at math. So I'm trying to find out what he would like to do. So I think the data entry is good for him because he is on a computer, loves the computer, and he gets to deal with the numbers and stuff like that. So a little bit data entry.
All right. So I'm going to ask you to basically break down the things that are on the forefront of your campaign, starting with the jobs.
Like my platform?
Right.
Okay. Jobs. So everybody in my neighborhood needs a job. And I guess you can't be 100% on anything. So a lot of people in my neighborhood, we really need jobs. We need to increase the economic development in our neighborhood so we can have more jobs and money flowing back and forth. So to bring jobs to a neighborhood, I really think there needs to be a push from our legislators to help our mayors show businesses that we are good for their business, because businesses, they look at the climate of the neighborhood, they look at the traffic, they look at other businesses, they look at success, and they find out whether they want to come into your neighborhood or not. Unfortunately, in the South suburbs, the mayors kind of working by themselves. Unless they have an economic development chair that's really focused on just economic development, they don't really have anyone else. So I would love to create an economic development plan throughout my entire district. So when we know one community is lifting themselves up, we can attach that to another community so we can do it all together. And hopefully that builds the entire district up. Of course, this is a very new concept. But I do want to be that push or help my mayors be that push to help businesses come into areas so we can increase the jobs. Everything wouldn't be retail either. We need manufacturing companies. We need companies. We have a huge railroad out there that provides jobs, but we have to come up with different ideas on ways so we can increase that job growth in the area. So I'm very excited on that because I have all these ideas that I have to write down every night at the top of the morning when I'm not sleeping. So I have all these ideas that I really want to implement. I know everything doesn't go like your mind goes. You're like, oh my God, this big vision and it's perfect. I don't think everything will be perfect, but I do think we get a lot of stuff done.
Right.
And I think my community will be amazingly happy with it.
Yes, because a lot of times when people are looking for jobs, the jobs are way somewhere else where they can't get to.
Hour, 2 hours away.
Or if they have to take the bus or the train, they have to use public transportation, then they're risking being late. They're risking losing the job before they even, get through 90 days.
Right.
So it would be awesome to have something in the South suburban communities where people can actually just get up and walk to work if they need to.
Right.
And then take their children to school. Don't have to worry about that part. That would be awesome.
Right.
And then let's talk about the education portion.
Education? Education is rough. In my neighborhood, there are kids that still does not have teachers in their classrooms. And that was mind-boggling to me when I was talking to residents. They're like, yeah, my son still doesn't have a teacher. And I'm like, why? Why are you guys not tearing it down? Why are you not in the uproar? Because I could imagine if my son, so I thought of it like this. As soon as she said it, I know how I acted in grade school without a teacher in the classroom. Right. You have no structure especially, you have a substitute teacher, you have no structure. We were switching name tags. We were going all over the place, using bathroom for no reason, because you can, basically. When the teacher are in there and they're consistent, same person, the kids, their attitudes, what they'll do, what they don't do. You build a relationship with these kids. And there's a trust, between a teacher and a child.
Absolutely.
When they given homework, that back and forth. To have that breakdown for an entire year, I'm like, how are you guys still letting the school stay open? Like, I really, really didn't understand it. But I really want to address stuff like that. In a lot of our schools, there's another school in my district that doesn't have books for all the kids in their class. And I'm like, how are you running a school and don't have enough adequate books for a particular subject? That doesn't make sense and need to be addressed and need to be broadcasted. It shouldn't be just the parents, because I'm finding out that a lot of parents really don't know what to do and really feel like, well, if they don't have books, it's nothing we can do. But it is,
Right. And I think having someone like you will be able to teach parents how to fight, because they, like you say, they have no idea what to do. They're like, and that's why I always say I have 4 children. So I always say the teachers are pointing at the parents are pointing at the teachers, and the kids are being left out.
Absolutely.
It has to be a tightened net. You have to just rally around the kids and make sure that they're the focus. The kids have to be the focus. It can't be, well, you as a teacher are supposed to do this. No, the teachers aren't supposed to raise your kids, but they're with your children the majority of the day, because so they're kind of like a second parent, although you are the parent, and you have to just be able to communicate with each other. Right. I was more involved with my younger kids than with my older kids, because with my older kids, that's when I kind of went back to work. So I wasn't able to be there. So I got both parts of the spectrum. So I will communicate with those teachers and say, hey, if there's a problem, please call me, please email me. Never got calls, never got emails until it was too late.
Right.
Until things had gotten too far. And I'm like, okay, well, why didn't you address this early in the year? I met you at the beginning of the year. I come to parent-teacher conference. I don't understand. So it is very important for the parents to definitely, it's kind of difficult to have to shake a fist at a school. You feel like I'm sending my kids here, to be taken care of. I'm trusting you with my child. This is my life. So when I send my child to school, I expect them to be taken care of. I expect them to be comfortable. I expect them to be able to talk to you. But we have teachers that don't even want to deal with the kids. Mm-hmm. So that's it's a lot to be addressed with that.
It's a lot. And I think I do want to throw this out there as well. I think the teachers are under a lot of pressure as well, because the school administration, we have a school board, and this is in the South Suburbs. The Chicago doesn't have school boards yet, but I think they're going to get them pretty soon. But with the South Suburbs, we have school boards, and like we said, the parents and the teachers are going back and forth, but we're not saying anything to our school boards, which is really giving the funding. If the teachers are in the classroom and they don't have the materials to really teach the kids, they're being kind of frustrated too. And I could see a lot of them like, what am I supposed to do?
Absolutely.
The kids are angry. The administration is not giving me the tools to really teach the kids and what I need to really give them the best education on what they love to do. Because I'm assuming if you're a teacher, you love to do it.
Yes.
So I do want to make sure that we talk about the school boards and make sure that administration are held responsible, because it's a lot of breakdown there before it even gets to the teachers.
Right. I always I applaud teachers because I wanted to be a teacher. I love, that's like one of the ultimate things, because the youth are our future. And a lot of times I'm like, well, why does the teacher have to buy supplies for the classroom?
Right.
Like that should be from the school to give supplies to the classroom. The teacher shouldn't have to go out of their pockets and do that. So I always had a problem with that. I mean, it's okay for parents to have to, go and do tissue and do little things for the classroom, but just to buy supplies, basic things that they need, construction paper, pens, pencils, extra things for the kids. Yes, it should be already available through the school board. That's just my feeling on that. Now let's go into police reform. That was one of the last things.
Police reform. Every police station does not need reform. I have visited a lot of police stations that does very, very well. But I do know that we have a lot of people that are mentally disabled. And what it seems like and what I've been seeing is that the mentally disabled are being treated like hardcore criminals. I told you earlier that my husband is a 17-year military veteran. Statistics shows that in the military, when you get out of that branch, you leave with PTSD and all types of other potential mental disabilities. We have homeless veterans that fought for our country that are being put in jail because of their mental disability, and it's not being addressed. So I definitely want to broadcast that as one of my major points, because if you're mentally disabled, that's where you need to go somewhere to get help for the mental disability, not to our Cook County jails. That's just keeping you in a jail cell.
Absolutely.
So
it's not helping at all.
It doesn't help at all, So I definitely wanted that to be one of my top points. I love the idea of community policing. When, you go into small towns and you see the police officers know you by name, your child, and when a child is being a child. You're not just locking kids up because they made one accidental mistake and then they go to the judges, vote for judges, please. They go to the judges and the book is thrown at them. Now they're in jail for one mistake, and that doesn't make sense. But if I can call it out, like, it's nothing we can do about how a judge a particular case that's at their discretion in front of them, besides knowing who you're voting for judge. But before that, they have to go through the police officers. So I believe that police officers should serve and protect and not just focus on enforcing the law. I believe that a lot of times our police force believes that enforcing the law is 90% of their position. That's what we do. We enforce the law, abide by the rules, when we forget that the 80% should have been serving your community, then protect. Enforcing the law should be a 10, 20%. Oh, you ran a red light. Come on, you ran a red light. I got to give you a ticket. Right. You was bad. Just like anybody else. But it seemed like, especially Illinois, we so ran off of money. It's money. Get the money any way you can. Write the ticket, Absolutely. Enforce the law. It's about generating the income, and you're just hurting the people that lives here.
Absolutely. So, with police reform, I was going to ask you about a different topic.
Sure.
With the recent mass shootings in Florida that claimed 17 lives of people at the hands of a mentally unstable gunman. When he was 18, he was able to purchase 10 guns, including an AR-15. So a bill was recently passed that increases the age restriction to purchase guns from 18 to 21. It will allow teachers who coach or other school employees to carry guns in school. There will be exceptions for those who are currently in law enforcement or military, or they teach military or law enforcement training programs. It supposedly will implement new mental health programs for school and improve communications between the schools, law enforcement, and state agencies. What are your views on gun control versus putting guns in the hands of educators?
Educators aren't police officers, and they're not physically trained to operate a firearm. If anything, I believe it will be more dangerous for a teacher to have a gun, or anyone besides a trained officer inside a school to have a firearm in the school than it would be to not. And I say that because we've seen incidents of kids fighting teachers. You can find that, Google that all over the internet.
Yes.
So one of the teachers just so happened to leave his firearm out, and the student gets a hold of it. Not only is the student not intentionally purchasing a firearm, but now you have access to one at school. I would believe that is more access, not less. We want to reduce the access that a child would have with a firearm. And we don't want teachers also to be pulling guns on kids because they have a mental breakdown, because they're not trained in mental disabilities as well. We don't want teachers pulling the gun on a child because they're acting up and they feel like they're out of control. we've seen children that are dealing with some things at home and act out in school, act a plum fool, and yes, sometimes you need to call the proper authorities for that. But that's when the authorities need to be called because they can handle that situation, not a teacher. Teacher shouldn't be law enforcement now. And that's what I think the line is being crossed. Increasing the age to 21, that's a step. But automatic weapons, what would a normal resident, a citizen, need with an automatic weapon? I don't see what was wrong with a ban of all automatic weapons. Because I can't find one reason besides just liking to have one, to have an automatic weapon. And and of course, any legislation can be made to allow people, if you have a training or if you want it as a souvenir piece or something like that, maybe you can apply for one in that case. But everyone else, why do you need to go to the local gun store, which is an automatic weapon?
Yes, absolutely. And we're talking about training, and we see police officers who have training, but they don't seem to be using that training properly because there are steps before you pull your weapon. There are steps before you, oh my goodness. If I get this thing. I apologize if you couldn't see us. There are steps before you pull your weapon. There are steps before you pull your trigger. Yes. And it seems to me that the police are actually not following their proper training when they are doing this, and they're taking lives of human beings, and there's no prosecution behind this. It's all justified. Is there anything that we the people can do about that with you being in government?
Yes, I feel like it's always something we can do. There's a thin line with that. And this is why I say so. Police officers go to what everyone else is afraid of every day. They put their lives on the line. They have to worry about if they're going to come home to their kids the next day, the next night, their wives. So I try to be very, very careful about our public servants because they are, we call them every time we're in trouble. Call the police, call the police, call the police, help, help, help. We call them for help, and we hope that they'll help us, because that's what we believe that they're there for. You have certain instances, and I do believe that there's no way that you can 100% eliminate everything, but we can ask for, as residents and as taxpayers, we can ask for stricter application processes to make sure that there are no biases when you're going into a community. If you're seeing certain biases, then maybe you shouldn't be a law enforcement officer, especially in the Black community. That may be an idea, increasing training, making training more often. But of course, all of that costs money. So we can't request training more often and say, but don't raise my property taxes or don't try to get money from anywhere else, just increase the training, so we have to have a give and take. If we want police officers to have more training, we have to be willing to pay for that. It has to be significant enough to pay for it and know that it has to come from somewhere. The money has to come from somewhere. So I guess that's where I'm at with that.
Okay. What do you think about counseling for the police officers? Because like teachers, like any human being, sometimes things can get overwhelming.
Absolutely.
So what do you think about having counselors for police officers, like mandatory counseling sessions every 3 months or something like that, just to keep them balanced?
Absolutely. That would be a very good idea, and it would be something to talk to police chiefs about. But again, the counselors would charge.
Absolutely.
We'll have to find a way to pay for it. If the state pay for it, we'll have to find where it will come out the state budget to pay for it. So one way or another, the counselors will have to be paid if they decide to go that route, but that would be good. I would like to see what police officers would think about that, and police chiefs, if that was something that they'll like. and then we could find a way to generate the money for it.
Yes, because we definitely have to heal the disconnect. I think that would be a big help. Like you said, I know it's kind of hard because things are so broad now, but we have to figure a way to fix this because it's insane. It's insane that kids don't feel comfortable in school. You know, kids are afraid of being gunned down in school, going to class.
Right.
You know, it makes no sense at all. So we're going to kind of get ready to end our interview. I do appreciate you coming. At the end of your life, what would you hope to have accomplished in state government?
In state government specifically?
All over the world. What have you, whichever way you want to go.
Okay. In state government, I would hope to show people
wherever you want to go.
Wherever? Okay.
Yes, wherever.
Well, I'll stay there first. I want to show people that they do have a voice and that they have an option. I want to show people what their legislator really should be to them, as a servant to them. We're elected officials, so people had to elect us. They come first. Do what the people want you to do, not what you think is best to do, which I think we get off on. A lot of elected officials get off. They do what they feel is best instead of what the people in their community feel is best. I want to keep an open ear. I want to keep an open mind. And I want to make sure that I'm always open to the community where they are able to read me and that they know I'm not too high for them, you know, for them to touch. I want them to know that I'm serving them. So I guess that's my ultimate goal. Like, as long as they know that this is what elected officials are supposed to do for me.
Yes.
This is how you're supposed to act. This is any elected official. Then I'll be happy.
Now, how can people contact you?
Facebook is a good way.
Facebook. Corinne Davis.
Yep. COREAN DAVIS, and then hyphenated Banton, BANTON is my married name. I'm on Facebook. I try to post all the time, share ideas. You can inbox me. You can call my campaign number. Should I have it memorized?
We're going to get that. Can you, while we're getting that together, can you tell us, give us some names to remember during voting, because the early voting has already started.
Yes.
And the day to vote is actually the 20th of this month.
Yes.
So can you give us some names to remember when we go to the polls? And like the hardest thing, I don't know if you can give them off, but judges, like who do you vote for a judge? Who knows that?
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. I mean, that's probably the hardest thing, but just give us some names. Any name.
Corinne Davis, 53.
Of course. Corinne Davis, number 53. Don't forget that one.
Punch 53. There are a lot of people. I just really encourage them to look into their judges. The judges are so scrambled up.
Right.
Know what subcircuit you are, know what the judges stand for, and just vote that way. I don't have a particular endorsement list.
Okay.
But I do encourage everyone to know who their judges are, because we all go in front of judges.
Yes.
All the time.
Absolutely.
Know them.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Corinne Davis and Miss Everything. What's your Monique?
Mona.
I was close this time, you guys. You know, I'm horrible with names. At least I had an M and not a T. So that was good. So we appreciate you for coming to Everyday People Radio Show on Intellectual Radio. This is an iHeart Radio station. We love you. God bless you. See you next Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. One love.
When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a woman, I put away childish things. Timid, in an environment of forced silence. Not by violence, but stifled by the one who led me. No options laid out, no multiple choice. So I pressed mute on the nearest remote to shut off my own voice. Sequestered like an unopened gift sitting inside a box with locks, purposely unsecured but left hanging. Perched inside, banging on the walls, dying to be free, crying to be me, trying my best to see, but in the dark everything is black. And often I was too afraid to scream, so in silence I remained, quietly maintained, and the box became my safety. My own personal den, but I needed some kind of release, so I found paper and then a pen and began to scream into the pages, pouring out my heart. For years, many stages of life carved as long as past the 21 days of consecration. That led to an invitation to speak, to share this, to lift the hearts of others and encourage the weak. During that time, I was dealing with the death of my mother. I was hesitant, but little did I know I would be well received by my sisters and my brothers. And Tanisha Renee began to step to mics, not for fame or likes, but for peace of mind and in obedience. So I started attending poetry sets, and in my caterpillar stage, I was hungry, green as can be, but not with envy or jealousy. My green meant I was full of life and vitality. And when I ate, I feasted on knowledge and things on my mind that challenged me. I crawled inching along, struggling to find my own voice and true identity, not realizing the work God was doing when he wrapped me up in his security. Cocoon for transformation. And then I went through a metamorphosis, and in this he killed off those things that held me back, and I saw the corpses of fear, insecurity, rejection, and other invisible forces. He told me that the devil comes to kill, steal, and destroy, but he comes to give life, and that more abundantly. No more standing in the background with your fright wrapped up in anxiety. Everything you need is already inside of you, so just talk to me. I said, Lord, I don't need the biggest name or the glory. I just want to be free. He told me, keep writing, but you must open your mouth to unleash the beast. You got a storm inside of you raging. Katrina has nothing on you. You've been in darkness long enough, so stand by. I'm about to break your levee. Black butterfly, come out wherever you are. Your wings are ready. So I've been set free from bondage, and now I'm taking flight. I had to fight my way from darkness into the light, and I got my wings on tight, traveling to new heights. Thank God I don't look like what I've been through. He restored me and got me right. My future is looking pretty bright, and there's no stopping.